An old friend called me the other day, and we spent over an hour on the phone catching up. It was a great time of reflecting and laughing at some of the stupid things we did when we were younger. We also discussed cultural issues, like where we had come from as a society and where we are heading to. My friend drifted back to the days of true conservatism, as he called it, and Ronald Reagan. His hope that one day soon we would have not a neocon or a rhino as a Republican nominee for president, but a true Reagan conservative. When we return, I will explain to you why I believe this will not happen. Hello, I'm Jerry Johnson, and I welcome you to this edition of Against the World.
This episode of Against the World is brought to you by our good friends in Sweeney, Texas, Shelby and Nancy Luke, and by the Gideon Project. Their plan is to help rescue as many as possible from God's judgment on a world committed to deliberate disobedience. For more information, visit them on the web at thegideonprojectusa.com.
In my assessment, my friend is a nominal Christian. Good guy, but a nominal Christian. He attends a broad evangelical church which does not emphasize doctrinal purity or faithfulness. And friends, please note that this is not a judgment. It's simply an observation. Youth groups, pizza blowouts, and programs dominate his church's outreach efforts. They have no concept of the covenant, especially as it regards the children who attend that church. Most, if not all, the parents shuttle their children off to government schools to be indoctrinated by leftists on the one hand or leftist curriculum on the other. While my friend dreams of a return to the so-called good old days of Reagan conservatism, which, by the way, I'm on record stating that I believe it was and is a delusion, he is plopping his children down in the midst of Sodom and Gomorrah, administered by the NEA, the National Education Association, which by overwhelming numbers supports and votes for the most liberal, socialistic, left-wing candidates for public office. Even if my friend strives to deprogram his children while sitting around the dinner table, most of their peers embrace an anti-Christian worldview. The pressure from my friend's children to capitulate is intense. Now hear me on this. According to one study, and this goes specifically for Christians who send their children into government schools, 82% of young people raised in the church will reject their upbringing by their first year in college, giving into parties and promiscuous sex. I believe it was Adolf Hitler who stated, "Give me a child when he is 5, and he will be mine forever." This is the lesson the left has not only learned, but also implemented. They are confident that they can so control the thought processes of the next generation through indoctrination, or in the very least damage them so badly that they'll never upset the natural liberal order. Let the parents deal with them as they learn to walk, talk, and go to the bathroom. But the moment they turn 5, they are whisked away to the government school to begin the conditioning of making them future obedient servants of the state. It should be noted that Adolf Hitler himself outlawed homeschooling in Germany, and homeschooling is still against the law to this day. And Christians and so-called conservatives, well, as usual, they are asleep at the wheel, being entertained to death by numerous cultural amusements. Some who have woken up to this educational nightmare hold out hope that the government schools can be reformed. Perhaps they can, but are you willing to send your children into these rat-infested war zones known as public schools in the meantime? Listen to the words of the Lord Jesus in Matthew 7:18. A good tree cannot bring forth evil fruit, neither can a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. Beloved, ask yourself what the fruit is being brought forth by the government schools. Once answered, I beg you in the name of Christ, love your children enough to snatch them out of the fire. Until next week, this is Jerry Johnson standing contra mundum against the world.
Indoctrination is a 90-minute documentary film that takes the audience on a panoramic exploration of one of the most important and controversial issues in the history of mankind, the issue of education. Part documentary, part testimonial, a confessional, and a rebuke. This film is above all a challenge and an encouragement to millions of Christians who need to know what history, experience, and the scriptures have to say about what is perhaps the pivotal issue of our time: the discipleship and training of the next generation. To order, please visit the link in the description below. God bless.